Ever since we opened, I could be walking down the street and somebody would stop and greet me and say, "Oh, we're so thankful that you opened the theater. We just, you know, it has made a big difference in our community, and keep it open. We want this." And it never ends, even now after 14 years.
And it's a social gathering spot, you know, and there's people here in town that go to every doggone movie no matter what it is, just so they can get out and socialize with other people. A place where everybody enjoys going to now.
And it's about the only entertainment in Webster.
There's nothing to do in Webster. Usually we drive around and meet up with friends. We go down to Mike's Jack and Jill and sit in the parking lot and talk all night. It's very boring here.
There's really nothing new to do. It's just like the same old same. Nothing really changes about anything.
Go to the lakes.
Driving around, taking Mainers, you know, driving up and down Main Street and stuff.
Hang out with friends.
Going over to somebody's house, having some fun, whatever.
You go to the movies at the Webster Theater?
Not really.
Not really.
Maybe like once every 2 months.
I probably go about twice a month.
The movies here are like a month older than the ones in Aberdeen and Watertown.
They show more kid movies and not more fun ones.
A lot of kids these days, like my age, like scary rated R movies.
What kind of movies do you like?
Scary movies.
I'm Vincent Bryce. You're invited to my party in the house on Haunted Hill, where so far the ghosts have murdered only 7 people. So won't you come and make it 8?
And not a lot of those come to Webster. It's more like PG-13 or like the little kids movies.
I prefer the family type movies, and those are the ones that I get the best attendance to.
There's so many movies that come out and only a few of them get to Webster.
I don't know, as far as I know, we get them all. I mean, if there's any we don't get, usually it's because I don't hear about them anyway.
So we all drive to Aberdeen and watch the movies. Get out of Webster.
You got a car?
Mm-hmm.
Who pays for gas?
Me.
Oh, it's big time for a small town. Gosh, I remember back when I was a kid, you'd drive around or go on a family trip and you'd go through other towns and you'd always look to see if they had a theater. And of course, back then, most of them did. I think, you know, like any business that shuts down in a small town, you think, oh gosh, here goes another one or something like that. But in a theater, I think it has a little bit more relevance. And, you know, again, because people, that's part of the town, it's their town or their theater. And it again, distinguishes small towns.
I was looking for something. I wanted to do something. I was on the farm and my kids were growing, and so I wanted something else. It was for sale for 7-8 years. It had been closed, and it kind of interested me, and so I inquired about it and talked to my husband, Dennis, about it, and he didn't want nothing to do with it, so I went ahead and I put in a bid unbeknown to him. He didn't know what I was doing. Then I did go to him and said, I want to buy this. We spent a lot of hours here working. Oh, it was in bad shape, yeah. Needed a lot of work. The heating system was totally gone from here. They say the last few years that they did have the movie, people would come in their snowmobile suits and parkas and sit in here and watch the movie. It was so cold. Basically, the lobby is what it was. We put new ceiling in the auditorium, and we covered the walls with cloth. We used the old seats for quite a while. We left those in. The theater held over 600 people, and we cut down. Right now we have 163 seats. Oh, we had lots of volunteer help. That's the only way we'd have gotten it done. We couldn't hire it all done, so we had the doors open, and people would come in, and they'd pick up a hammer and say, what can I do? We would be working here sometimes 1 o'clock, and still people would come in and offer to help. And I think they got excited about it too, and they knew we needed the help. We couldn't have done it without the community.
And what would happen if it suddenly shut down?
Oh, I don't know. Everybody would probably be mad at me.
Born and raised in the Platte area and went to school here and graduated from high school in '61. Started in the grocery business at that time.
When I came to town, he was a carryout boy. Later, he built a grocery store here.
Currently, the chairman of the board of Affiliated Foods has about 1,000 stores in the 12-state area, all independent grocers, and so they can compete and keep these smaller towns alive.
He's meant a lot to the community.
We thought we'd like to give something back, so we looked across the street at the old one-time theater that Platt had when we were younger kids and went to movies. And it had been a museum for a few years. Movies stopped showing about 1975. A little history on the building. It's built in 1900 when Platt was started, and then it was used as a school. Well, the school burnt down in 1912, and so they had the high school graduate here, and they held classes. And then in 1915, this building burned down. And Cools, who'd done a lot of stuff in Platt, had a furniture store in it and a mortuary in the back, and then they had an opera house on top. And then when that burned down, they moved the furniture across the street to another building.
In fact, at one time in this Lyric Theater, there was a flat floor and it was a dance hall. And
so they had live bands, and when movies came in and they cut the sides that dropped the floor down to make for a movie house.
There wasn't any sound back then. There was a lady who would be playing the piano all during the movie, and the words would be printed on the screen. You just read along and cheered and booed, and then invariably, at least 2 or 3 times, the film would break and the lights would come on, and then they'd get it patched up and get back to the movies.
You worked for a little bit for the Lyric Theater?
Well, mostly delivering handbills. Back in those days, that was their way of advertising. So during the week and on Saturday night, they'd hire us for 10 cents and a free movie to go around with these handbills showing what movies were going to play, and we'd put them under the windshield wipers and put them in the screen doors. And then if we get tired delivering, we might take them all and stick them in a culvert, and hopefully that it'll rain and wash them away.
Did you ever get caught?
Yeah, I finally got caught, and had to work for nothing.
You were a troublemaker, weren't you?
Yeah, kinda. I was kind of a hooligan.
Mark King took it upon himself to reopen the theater, put a lot of money into it.
And we got the museum people to sell us the building for a little money, and then moved the museum out of here. This building took a lot of work, which not only I did, but a lot of volunteers from the Platt community did. We had a lot of people that would ask us what we needed. Some gave money, some wanted to buy these seats. We had retired carpenters, we had postal delivery guys working here, and put a lot of hours in, and we had to start from the top to the bottom, from the windows to the roof. And we didn't have no real plan when we put it together. It just kind of fell together as we all worked on it. And once we got it fixed up, we turned it over to the Platt Development Corporation, which is a nonprofit.
Which is the city, which is all of us,
They own it, we maintain it for them. It is quite interesting to see how bad it was and how it did turn out. It hasn't lost or grown a whole lot.
Well, we're blessed by a great location. The river has developed into a great destination for fishermen and water sports.
It's kind of a vibrant little town. A lot of Dutch heritage. I don't know if that has anything to do with it or not, but
a lot of old families in town that tend to come back. Generally the kids will leave town, but you see a lot of younger kids coming back to this town because it is so strong.
We've got a pretty vibrant Main Street. There is no really empty buildings in Platt.
This year we're going to have a terrific winter wheat crop. We're 60, 70 miles from Mitchell and Yankton and 120 from Sioux Falls, so there needs to be a Platt.